Hi, welcome to my channel. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk you through my plan of the allotment. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go down to the allotment today because it's been snowing, so I've had to have a day at home, but it's been very useful. What I've done is I have drawn out a plan of the plot on some squared paper. I'll show you my little plan here. I'll talk you through it in more detail in a minute, and I've done it on some squared paper, and I put in the paths and things like that. I actually used some surveyor's tape to measure out the edge of the plot when I was at the plot on Monday. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a plan at home of what I'm going to do with the allotment, and I've got this which is fabulous to help me measure it out. This is some surveyor's tape. I'll put a link in the description down below in case you want to get some. But I find this tool really helpful for the allotment. And what it has is it's a tape measure that has a little hook on the end. So you put a stick or something in the ground to put the hook on, and then you can pull it along and measure your distance. And it's just really quick and handy. And then when you want to put it away, you just spin this round and it just pulls the tape back in. So it's really handy, and I've had this probably about 8 years now. It's lasted really well, and then when you finish you just put the handle back in. And what I've also done is I've gone onto Google Maps to get the angles at the corner, because it's not quite square, my allotment plot, and so it just meant that it's a truer representation. And I've done it to scale, so for each box represents half a metre, and it just means that when I go to try and recreate this down at my plot, I can use my surveyor's tape to help me measure that out. So what I'll do is I'll turn the camera around now and I'll give you a closer look and talk you through what I'm going to do. So this is the allotment plan that I've just drawn today, and that's the back of the plot, and then that's the front of the plot where you come in. So I've decided to do a path all the way down the middle. Then I'm going to have sort of a fenced area here with an archway over it and a gate. Then the path will continue, and this is going to be where I'm going to put my shed. I'm going to fence in the pond area. This area here, I'm actually going to put some raised beds for my son and my daughter so that they can grow a few of their favourite veg in there, so that's their little space. And then here I'm going to put 3 dwarf fruit trees. I'm going to put a plum tree, an apple tree and a pear tree. And then moving along the plot now from this side, I am going to do, down here I've drawn the direction of the sun. So this is south, facing that way, so that's north, and that's the way that the sun is shining, and it goes all the way around this way, just to give you an idea of where things are going to be lit from. So I'm going to put my climbing beans here, and then in front of that I'm going to put my globe artichokes. I thought I'd put a bed of asparagus here, so this will be a perennial that will come back year after year, the same way that the artichoke will. Then I'm going to have a bed of summer fruiting raspberries and another bed of a different summer fruiting variety. So I'll do a early one, a mid-season one, and then I'm going to do a late autumn fruiting raspberry. So with these ones I'm going to have to build quite good frames for them, because the summer fruiting raspberries grow on the growth from the previous year. So you have to save the stems and you have to tie them up, and then the following year after they grow is when they fruit. Whereas the autumn fruiting raspberries, those will fruit on that year's growth. So you just chop them all back down to the ground in sort of late winter, and then all the new growth will produce all your raspberries for that year. Then here I'm going to put in some blackcurrants, and then I'm going to put in some rhubarbs. I've put 4 dots down because technically I've got the space to put 4 rhubarb plants, but it's not something that my family particularly enjoy. I like rhubarb, but my husband and children don't really enjoy it, so I'm not sure how many of them I will keep in the end. I'm going to put some gooseberry plants in here, and then I've got a little bit of a space here for some other fruit bush of some description. I'm not really sure what I'm going to put in there, but there's a space there. Then here, along this path here, is where I've decided to put the compost bins. So I'm going to put those in there, and then there's a little box outside it so that I can get the wheelbarrow down here so that I can load things into the compost bins. And then I wasn't really sure what to grow around the compost bins. If you've grown things right next to your compost bin, let me know what's done well. I thought at the back I'd put some comfrey because I wasn't sure how bad the slug problem would be around the compost bin, because I know you do get lots of slugs in the compost bin. But yeah, so I thought maybe put the comfrey, and also the comfrey would be good there because I chop the comfrey down and add it to the compost bin because it adds lots of good nutrients to the compost bin, so that you can then put it on your beds and give all the additional nutrients to your plants. So here I'm going to put my tomatoes. I will have a couple of tomato plants at home as well, and then in front of those I'm going to have some potatoes, and again I will have some potatoes in pots, but I'll probably put them somewhere sort of in this area down here. Then moving forward, so I can't remember if I said the gooseberries, so I'm going to have 2 gooseberry bushes here in a space. Oh yeah, I did. Then I'm going to have the peas, so I'll put those on a frame. I'll either do Kelvedon Wonder or Hurst Green Shafts. Those are sort of 2 that I really like. Then in front of those I'll put my kale in and my Swiss chard. I've got some of that already growing at home, so I might just move it down to the allotment. I'll put some brassicas in there. I'll probably put some tender stem broccoli and some kalettes maybe. I'm not going to grow Brussels sprouts and things like that this year. Then here I'm going to put in my sweet corn because my son loves it, and so I'm going to put that in there. And then I'll put in some, oh I know what I'm going to put in there, I'll put in some cucumbers. That's what I'll put in that space there. Then here I'm going to put in some dahlias. I love growing dahlias, especially for cut flowers. They're so pretty. I wish I had more space because I'd have a lot more dahlia beds. Then here I'm going to put in my parsnips and my carrots. I'll put in my squash and my courgettes in this bed here. Here I'll put in my beetroot, my kohlrabi, my radish and some herbs in here. And again, I'll be growing my lettuce and some other herbs and things at home in my garden at home. But it's nice to have some down at the allotment as well. And here I'm going to put in my strawberries. So I've got an early, 2 mid and a late strawberry. So I'll put those at the allotment. And then probably in one of the children's beds I will put in one. I've got 3 raised beds to put in. Probably put one with an ever-bearing variety of strawberries, so that when my daughter's in this little area here, she can go and help herself to the strawberries. And because they're ever-bearing, they'll be throughout the summer, so she can go and see when they're ready and pick them. So that'd be quite nice for her. And then I thought at the back here, what I might also do is put a little sandpit in there, but obviously cover it because otherwise animals use it as a toilet. And then I will also maybe put a little water table or something like that, as I'm going to fence off the pond to stop her going for a dip in that. It'd be nice if she had something sort of watery to splash about with and play with, and then she can use it to dip her watering can in and then water the various things on the plot. Then at the front I'm going to put in some flowers. I've got things like Sweet Williams that I really like growing, gladioli, what else will I grow, various sort of cut flowers and things. So I have these as little cut flower beds, and it will look pretty at the front of the plot when people are going past, which will be nice, and it will also attract the pollinators to my plot. Thank you for watching. I hope that I get to go down to the plot soon. Hopefully this snow clears up and I get to go down, and then I can start making these beds and organising my plot and getting it all sorted using this new no-dig method, which I'll obviously document and share with you all on here. So if you think with my plan that I've missed anything glaringly obvious off, I think I've covered everything. But you know what it's like when you're trying to plan things out and then you miss something really obvious. So if I have, then put it down in the comments down below. That'd be really handy. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Okay, take care. Bye.